our cosplay workshop. Too much? Hi! This is our first video in our series that we are going to develop on cosplay.
Yes.
And we wanted to do a couple things today. First of all, we wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to us, so you kind of know who we are. And then we wanted to talk about our first little venture in. I went ahead and did a steampunk poison ivy for Denver Comicon. But we wanted to go over that costume and sort of talk about first time newbie mistakes and how we're gonna fix them in the future. And then we want to do a little preview of what we have coming up for this fall.
I made her have the ball. I'm so happy I made her have the ball. So Brianna, tell me about your extensive history with tools.
I grew up with my dad doing installs. He installed alarms for a living. He's also an electrician. I basically grew up with a mechanics mindset, and so I wanted to extend that into school. So I took 4 years of metal shop and 2 years of CNC machining. Best class I ever took. I learned a lot. I also made ninja stars behind my teacher's back, so almost got in trouble for that. But I was actually training to be a CNC machinist post high school, in college, and then the economy tanked, so I just wanted to work for Ace Hardware. I moved up from a cashier all the way up to a store manager, and in that time frame of like 9-10 years, I kind of learned a lot.
She basically knows everything. Like, she literally took me on a tour of Lowe's the other day, and she's like, and over here we have these. We literally spent 15 minutes looking at screws.
But it's I love the screw aisle. It is so much fun. Because I used to make screws. Like, I know how to make those on the lathe. I really am a Jill of all trades. My focus is graphics, photography, and tools, actually. Other than that, if I've seen it, I probably have done it, or I know how to do it, so I can easily figure things out.
Okay, now you do me.
So, what do you do, Chloe?
Okay, I was born at a very young age. Started doing things right away. Actually, I napped for most of my young life. But no, most of my background is actually in theater. So lots of acting, but also lots of costume design. I always ended up doing everybody's makeup. I have vivid memories of being 12, doing Midsummer Night's Dream, and literally cornering the 12-year-old boys and being like, "Come here, I need to do eyeliner on you," and they're like, "No!" They're like crying.
Oh,
like, what is wrong?
that?
The director told us we had to put eyeliner on them, and they were like, "No!" Anyway, I love you guys. Still, we're actually still friends. So, experimented a ton with makeup. I got into movies later on, movie production. So I always loved telling stories and figuring out visual mediums for that. Then, by accident, I got into modeling and ended up doing a lot of interesting sort of more runway style makeup, as well as sort of getting the privilege to work with a lot of really good photographers, sort of just on how, not so much how to take the photos, but what makes a good photo. Yeah. So like, as you're in it, how do you project something out of the screen?
Yeah. Also, Miss Sacramento right here.
Oh.
I don't know if you can say that's current or not, but...
It's not.
Okay. But what former Miss Sacramento?
Woo. I think I was kind of the impetus behind adding cosplay into what we're doing with Loresworn, because for years I've just looked at all those gorgeous cosplay pictures on DeviantArt and everything, and finally a couple years ago I was like, I could do that. It's not that hard. Well, I mean, it is hard. It's actually very hard. As I've done more research, I'm like, oh my god, this is a lot. But I'm really excited, because I think this is going to be a cool culmination of sort of all of the performance storytelling stuff that I've done, as well as the artistic side of the storytelling stuff, and I'm especially excited about some of our original designs that we're coming up with.
Yay!
And that actually segues us nicely into going over my Poison Ivy costume, which I designed kind of on a whim for Denver Comicon. I was like, I need to do something. Yeah, let's go over the costume.
Okay.
So this is the layout of pretty much everything except the tights, which I ruined at the photo shoot. So first of all, I guess we're going to talk about kind of the design process, because I didn't want to do the straight Poison Ivy, because I'm dumb and I'm like, I don't want to do something simple, I want to do something complicated. So let's do steampunk.
That's how it always ends up being.
So it was kind of interesting to me because my original designs that I had drawn out kind of ended up being different than the costume. But that's okay. One of the things that I really wanted to do with the costume was be sure that it was really modular. So the top piece is poison ivy. Like, this is never going to be anything else. But it's also super easy for me to replicate because it's just fabric sewn onto a bra.
Yeah.
Corset, however, I did do some modifications to the corset, adding a lot of detail, adding some wire, but I sewed it all on instead of gluing it, so I can take all of this off and I can use this corset again. I did end up gluing some things like onto leaves, but by and large, I don't even like how that ended up looking.
Yeah.
So
if you can, please sew or magnetize or something because it's going to hold much better.
Yep. The shoes, definitely not modular, but they ended up holding up pretty well. Not too bad. I'd say I spent like $5 on these because I went to the thrift store and I got dollar store leaves and I just glued them all on. The skirt that goes over the tool belt was super fun. It was lots of layers. Finding the fabric was really cool. It ended up not being as like movable as I wanted it to be.
I can see that.
Because I wanted, like, with the whole poison ivy thing, she's very organic, she's very movable, and I really loved this bark. However, it's super thick.
Yeah.
So it ended up taking any movement out of that skirt.
Yeah.
The belt goes with everything, but again, I just tacked it on with sewing, so I can actually use this belt again. It's brown underneath. The wig, of course, was just a plain red wig. I didn't add anything to it. And I got to work with the fantastic, amazing Erin Root to do a whole poison ivy shoot. We got some fantastic photos.
Which will have this information in the details.
As far as what I would do differently next time, one of the big things was figuring out from the beginning what I wanted it to look like. And since my design ended up being so radically different from what I ended up with, I ended up with about $20 worth of stuff that I didn't need.
Yeah.
And we'll probably use it again, so that's fine. But there's that give and take with letting your design grow and also being like, no, I know what I'm gonna do. I've gotta get this, this, this.
Stick to the design.
So sticking to the design is a really good way to stay on budget.
Absolutely.
As far as the other things that I do, I'm glad that I ended up doing this in a modular way, like attaching things with sewing instead of glue, because I didn't think about it at the time, but yeah, it definitely means I can wear it again.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would definitely do differently is I would consider comfort, because this costume ended up looking really cool, but it was very difficult and very cumbersome to move in. And I know there are more cumbersome costumes out there, but since this was an original design, there's no reason for me to have made it so cumbersome. Yeah. I really want to do a different version of Poison Ivy now. Like, I want to do like a medieval version of Poison Ivy or something.
Absolutely.
That'd be so much fun. So, Brianna, do you want to talk about what we have coming up?
Sure.
Welcome to our design wall. Show them the design wall.
So recently I binge watched Avatar: The Last Bender and fell in love with the story again. So I really want to cosplay the Avatar series. So my choice for the series is going to be Toph. I love her to death. If I had to choose some of the elements, it would be either an earthbender or a waterbender. And I know TJ really wants to actually dress up as a waterbender too. So we're going to see if we can do a cosplay for him as well.
And I'm going to do an Azula. Brianna's gonna do more of the standard traditional, like, this is gonna be very, very replica of what you remember from the cartoon.
Yeah.
I found this brilliant design by Hannah Alexander, who's amazing. I'm sure you've seen some of her work. She did Azula, and it's phenomenal. So that's gonna be me. I'm gonna do Firebender. I'm actually really excited not only about the costumes, but about some of the props.
Yeah.
Because I think creating the photographs for these pictures is gonna be really cool. And then we're gonna make Dylan do one, and we're gonna make him an airbender, and he doesn't get a choice.
Oh, this is gonna be great! He's gonna be an airbender with hair, like when Aang grew back his hair.
No, we're gonna shave his head.
We are gonna shave his head? Oh my god! Don't tell him, because we're gonna shave his head now, apparently.
Oh god, this could be great. The other thing we have coming is we're really, really excited about the Doctor Strange movie coming out. Super excited about it. It looks very, very interesting. And so I wanted to do a Doctor Strange cosplay. I was looking at the Doctor Strange, and I was looking at gender bend, and I was looking at just regular, and I was like, I don't know that I want to do Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Also, I think everybody's gonna do Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Everybody do Doctor Strange.
We're gonna do something different.
But we're gonna do something different. He has a paramour, and her name is Clea, and she's only, I think, in a couple of the comics.
But I found her and I was like, okay, this would be a cool character. Very cool character, because she's very similar to him. She has a lot of the similar powers. The design element, however, was very interesting because she's very 80s.
Yes.
It's like spandex and the big high like leotard and
graphics.
So that's gonna be an interesting challenge because I really want to stay true to her character and the original design, but I'm not gonna wear an 80s leotard. I'm not doing it.
Why not?
So that's gonna be a really cool design process. It's also going to involve some armor,
Yep.
so that's gonna be cool. So yeah, it's kind of our preview.
We are very excited to show this off, so look forward to what is coming up next.
Yep, and we have a couple how-to videos coming out very quick after this, and then you'll get to have a little peek in on our more intensive design process.
Yep, absolutely.